One of the things that creates, I guess, global brands is you can turn up somewhere and know pretty much what you're going to get. It may not be the best, and Heineken's not the best beer. McDonald's is not the best burgers, but you know what you're going to get every single time. And for some people, they absolutely love it. That's fantastic. I've been to the Heineken factory, and I've certainly eaten my share of McDonald's. But creating that consistent brand experience, around the world, and Coca-Cola is a really good example of that. Coca-Cola pretty much tastes the same in every single country you go to. It's very hard to find Coca-Cola tasting different anywhere, but it's made in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of factories around the world, from places like Fiji, Turkey, South Africa, all sorts of different variations go on around the world. There's opportunities, I think, for a cannabis company, certainly in the recreational space, to create a brand that can be used everywhere. Now, the biggest challenge that a lot of them have got is they cannot ship interstate in America. So let's talk about the biggest recreational market, which is the US. You can't move anything bigger than a seedling interstate at the moment. So that creates some problems, because you're not going to get, the veg and then the flower in a consistent way, unless you have a consistent environment that you put it into. Now, to get that consistent outcome, you need consistent environments. And I use the example of the Chinese gooseberry. Now, you ask a lot of people if they've ever tasted a Chinese gooseberry, and they look at you and go, I've never even heard of it. But of course, I've never tasted it. It's a kiwi fruit, or a kiwi, as they call it in some places. It's the same fruit, but it was taken from China and grown in New Zealand, and it created a different fruit because of the different environment of it. So now everyone's just really trying to recreate that New Zealand environment to grow kiwis in their own country. And New Zealand's like, oh, good luck, you're not going to be able to do that, because New Zealand's got, and where they grow, it's a very specific climate in the Bay of Plenty. So with a recreational brand of marijuana, cannabis, you want to create a cultivar that you can grow exactly the same way in every single state. And that's where a system like a climate-controlled cells come in. And you can get climate control inside greenhouses and what have you, and there's ways to do that. But greenhouses are big monsters of things, and use a heck of a lot of power. And you're still going to have some issues around climate control and creating positive and negative pressure environments. But most importantly, you've got square meterage, and every square meter you go out to grow more is more cost and more cost and more cost. So the trick with that is to go vertical, and of course, automate it. So if you've got the ability to create that same environment in every single state, all right, temperature control is a big one as well. So you've got, say, up in the north, like Canada and what have you, where you get a lot less of the normal sunlight hours over the winter months. Whereas down south, it's pretty consistent, 12 all the time. You're doing a lot of supplemental lighting. And of course, when it's crazy cold, you've got a lot of thermal controls that are going to come in as well. So with our system that sits inside a normal warehouse, the warehouse doesn't have to have any climate control necessarily in it. But the climate cells themselves sit separately inside that warehouse and a full climate thermo-controlled inside them, which means you can create a consistent environment all year round, 52 weeks of the year, and design it however you like. If it's for veg at 18 hours or flower for 12 hours, you can effectively take these cells and make them modular into any stage of the grow cycle. So from TC right through to flower, you can effectively have a bunch of these modular climate cells inside a warehouse anywhere that will enable you to produce a consistent product. Let's call it ABC cannabis. And I can turn up to a cannabis shop in Colorado and get it. I go to Florida and get it. I can go to any state in America and get exactly the same packaging, the whole lot. Here's the 3, 4, 5 different types of varieties. Here's the happy one. Here's the sleepy one. Here's the wide awake one. Here's the one that helps me with my arthritis or whatever. From a therapeutic point of view, you can create that super consistency. But it means for a company, you can create a brand, ABC or the Heineken of marijuana, and have it anywhere in the world as a recreational market with absolute consistency, to the consistency of Coca-Cola.